Welcome to Regaining Control with myself and Dr. Carter. In our last session, we talked about what it looks like to identify and think about our thoughts. The follow-up question to that, though, is what do we do with all of that information? We know that our thoughts shape our emotions and they ultimately shape our actions, but how do we take control of them and guide them to something that is actually helpful? Today, Dr. Carter and I will talk about how reframing our thoughts can lead us to a healthier place in our lives. Once again, here's my conversation with Dr. Carter.
Well, Dr. Carter, thank you again for being with us again today. I'm super excited to really unpack this a little bit more. So last time what we did is we talked a little bit about re-engaging with our thoughts and thinking more deeply about what and how we think. But today what I want to do is I want to talk about what do we do with that, right? When we discover these negative thoughts, how do we actually go about reframing them into something that's helpful for our lives?
Right. So with repeated times of kind of self-reflection and doing some of those journaling activities, you are going to notice there's certain negative thoughts that keep coming back. You might see themes or repeated thoughts that keep coming up. And those are the thoughts that you really want to pay attention to, because those are the ones that are representing even deeper beliefs that you might have about yourself. And those contribute to long-term mental health problems or emotional problems. So those are the ones that you really want to pay attention to. So, we have an example. Maybe your boss gives you some negative criticism and you think, you're journaling, you're reflecting about it, and you think, I'm going to get fired, or he doesn't like me, or I'm so stupid. And that thought, I'm so stupid, that's the one that really gets you down. That's the one that, you want to pay attention to and reframe, because it's causing the strongest emotional reaction. And when we say reframe, we mean, restructure it in the light of truth, essentially is what that means. So you want to look at evidence against the thought and evidence for the thought. And kind of weigh the evidence. What evidence do you have that you are stupid? What evidence do you have that you're not stupid? And this is a great place for you to utilize scripture and bring that in. So you're using God's truth as that counter evidence to that negative thought. And then based on your evidence, you're creating a more balanced thought. So instead of saying, I'm so stupid, you're saying, I'm not perfect and I did the best I could on the project. You're saying something that's much more balanced. And that thought by itself reduces that anxiety or that anger, or whatever emotion that you're feeling, because you're seeing it in a more balanced way. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting, as you go through these exercises, these different thought exercises, you might notice that, these thoughts like I'm so stupid come up in many different areas of your life. It may not just be with work. Maybe in your marriage, if you disappoint your spouse, you might have that thought. Or, when you're talking to your parents, or some people might even remember when they're kids having that thought, when they were younger. So this could be a lifelong thing. And so when you start to see those continuous patterns, now you're really starting to dig into underlying core beliefs about yourself and about your personality. And so again, you want to ask yourself, why is this so meaningful? Why does this thought, I'm so stupid, why does that have so much meaning to you? Why is that so distressing? And what does that even mean? What does stupid even mean to you? And you'll find that a lot of times, thoughts like I'm so stupid really point to just general feelings of inadequacy or incompetence, or feeling like you're flawed or not good enough. And those are underlying core beliefs that can lead to a lot of different dysfunction and emotional problems in our lives. But the same way that you would challenge a surface level thought, you're going to challenge a core belief by looking at the evidence, for and against it, and really getting into scripture about how, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, you're God's masterpiece, those types of things to kind of counterbalance those negative thoughts.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. So when I think about the journal that we talked about yesterday, I mean, if you were filling that out, you were going to write some of these things down, and you think about reframing, would you encourage somebody to put some of the scriptures or the reframing or the evidence, would you encourage them to write that down and
Absolutely.
look at it that way?
Yeah, write it out. And because when we write things, it really solidifies in our mind what that thing is. And it helps us to process it and really internalize it more. It's a great tool for memory too when we write things out. So when, you want to have a certain scripture in your mind, when that thought, I'm so stupid, it's not going to go away automatically. It's going to take some time. So when that thought keeps coming back, you want to have some scriptures ready or some counter evidence ready, to be able to say in the moment, no, I'm not stupid. I'm doing my best on this, or whatever the reframe is. So writing it out really helps to solidify it in our minds and helps us to process it even more.
That's great. Dr. Carter, thank you so much.
Of course.